Alright, while the entire basketball world watched two superstars brick shot after shot in Game 1 of the finals, one of the most criticized players of his generation quietly did everything right and almost nobody noticed. So here's the question, when the doubted star finally delivers in a finals win, why does no one talk about it? This is Karl-Anthony Towns, and for years, he's worn a strange label. Wildly talented, but somehow never quite trusted. Too soft on defense, they said. Empty stats. Can't win when it matters. So when his Knicks stole Game 1 of the finals, and Towns was a huge, efficient reason why, it deserved a closer look. Because this was a redemption hiding in plain sight. This is Game is Culture. Real quick before we get into it, if you like breakdowns that actually show the math instead of just yelling takes at you, go hit subscribe. It's free and it genuinely helps, so click it. First, the label he's been fighting his whole career. Because few stars have been doubted like Towns. He's one of the most skilled big men the league has ever seen, a 7-footer who shoots like a guard. And yet the narrative followed him everywhere, that his teams underachieved, that his defense was a liability, that his big numbers didn't translate to winning. Fair or not, that doubt became his shadow. So a player like that doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. When his team wins, the credit goes to someone else. When it loses, the blame finds him first. That's the box he's been living in, which is exactly why what he did in Game 1 matters so much more than the box score suggests. So what did he actually do? He was the steadiest star on the floor. Look at the efficiency against the other headliners. On a night when Brunson shot under 39%, Wembanyama under 29, and Fox just 23, Towns quietly shot 47. So while the stars around him were throwing up bricks, he was the one star calmly making his shots. And he turned that efficiency into a real, clean double-double, 18 points and 12 rebounds. Not a loud 30-point explosion, just a quietly dominant 18 and 12 in a finals win on the road. The kind of line that wins playoff games without ever leading a highlight show. But the part that should silence his critics is the restraint. Because Towns took just 15 shots, he attempted only 2 threes, and he turned it over twice. He didn't force anything, he didn't chase his own numbers. He took what the game gave him, stayed inside the offense, and let the result come to him. That is the opposite of the empty stats label. So how does a quiet 18 swing a finals game? Because in a rock fight where the big names are missing, the team that gets steady, efficient production from a second star wins. While Brunson was grinding out an ugly 30, Towns gave New York a reliable second source of easy buckets. So the defense couldn't just load up on Brunson, they had to respect Towns too. And that spacing is what kept the offense alive. And map his full game, and it's more complete than people admit. Efficient scoring, 12 rebounds on the glass, 4 assists out of the post, even a block on defense, the end everyone questions. So this wasn't a one-dimensional stat pattern, it was a balanced, winning performance from a player who's rarely credited for either word. So here's the redemption in plain terms. The man labeled a stat patter took fewer shots and made more of them. The man labeled a loser played a clean, efficient game in a finals win. The man labeled soft grabbed 12 boards and protected the rim once. One game doesn't erase a reputation, but it directly contradicts it. Real quick though, if you've made it this far, you've really gotta hit subscribe. I'm not going to beg, but I am going to ask, so hit it, and I'll wait. And to feel why this matters, you have to understand the weight he's carried. Because Towns came into the league as a number 1 overall pick, a unicorn, a can't-miss superstar, and the expectations never stopped climbing. But the wins didn't come fast enough, the playoff runs fell flat, and the defensive criticism piled up. So somewhere along the way, one of the most gifted big men ever became a punchline, a guy with great numbers who supposedly couldn't matter when it counted.
And that reputation is sticky, because when you're labeled a stat patter, every big game gets dismissed as empty calories. When you're labeled soft, every loss is somehow your fault. So Towns hasn't just been playing against opponents his whole career. He's been playing against a story, one that was written for him a long time ago, and that he can only rewrite in moments exactly like this one. And what makes Game 1 so quietly perfect is that he rewrote it without saying a word. He didn't demand the ball. He didn't chase a 40-point statement game to silence the critics. He just played a clean, winning, efficient brand of basketball and let the results speak. For a player defined by noise and narrative, the most powerful answer was silence and a win. And there's a bigger story in why this matters. Because Towns has spent his prime carrying the weight of expectations he could never quite meet in markets and situations that magnified every flaw. He was traded, doubted, and written off as a guy who'd never matter in June. And now here he is, in the finals, contributing to a road win, doing the unglamorous things right. That's not nothing. That's a career quietly bending back toward vindication. And the cleanest symbol of it is that efficiency number. 47% from the field, the best of any star in the building. On the biggest stage, with everyone else struggling, the most doubted star was the most reliable one. That's the kind of quiet that eventually gets loud. But let's be honest about the limits of one game. Because 18-12, as clean as it was, is not a dominant finals performance. He didn't take the game over, and the defensive questions that have followed him for years don't disappear because of one block in one game. So this was a very good, very quiet night, not a transformation. And the real test is repetition. A doubted star earns a new reputation by stacking these games, not by having one. So if Towns keeps playing this efficient, this disciplined, this winning brand of basketball through a finals, then the label finally breaks. One game opens the door. A series walks through it. So I'm gonna leave it with you. Is this the start of Karl Anthony Towns rewriting his entire legacy? Or just one quiet good game that the narrative will forget the moment he has a bad one? So tell me down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe. We're in a race to 1,000 subscribers, so please join the family.